Imagine a 13-inch iPad Pro that's quarter pound lighter than the last model, thinner than any gadget Apple has made before, packing completely new display technology and powered by brand new Apple Silicon. Now open your eyes and set them on the Apple iPad Pro 13-inch 2024. Apple has taken a huge swing with the latest Apple iPad Pro, bringing the most significant update in 7 years to both the 13-inch and 11-inch models. Much of what I will say about the stunning iPad Pro 13-inch applies to its 11-inch sibling, though there is one significant difference. The larger iPad Pro is even thinner than the smaller one at 5.1mm versus 5.3mm. I didn't get to spend much time using the two new iPad Pro tablets, and the iPad Pro 13-inch got the lion's share of that time, perhaps because I couldn't stop marveling at its thinness and lightness. I don't think you can overstate the leap Apple has taken here with its iPad Pro line. Sure, the new tablets still have the signature recycled aluminum enclosure, but along with squeezing every last bit of excess air and space out of the tablet, Apple has squeezed in never-before-seen bit of Apple Silicon, the M4. To hear Apple tell it, this 9-core CPU, 10-core GPU and 16-core neural processor SoC was necessary to support something I know I have never seen before, a tandem OLED display. As the name implies, this is two complete OLED panels sandwiched together to make one whole, and it would have been impossible to power that display with any other piece of Apple Silicon. Not even the relatively new M3 could do it. Why two OLED displays? For the light, OLEDs are incredibly thin and efficient, but they are not bright enough. Two panels sandwiched together change that equation. It also means that Apple has achieved some impressive contrast and brightness numbers. The iPad Pro boasts a 2,000,000:1 contrast ratio, 1000 nits brightness for HDR content, and 1600 nits for HDR. Those thin OLED panels are also how Apple was able to achieve the remarkable 5.1mm thickness of the iPad Pro 13-inch. It's unclear if the new M4 SoC played any part in the tablet's slim profile. Apple is somewhat unique in the tech world in its ability to shepherd every stage of development and integration when building a new product. When the design team shows the chip team the wildly thin enclosure it has in mind rather than heads exploding, Apple knows it has enough full stack control to make it happen. At a glance, you would be forgiven for mistaking the new iPad Pro 13-inch for the 2022 model. Has those same flat, planes, recycled aluminum body and Apple logo on the back. But as I drew closer to the new slate, I did a trouble take. This is one impossibly thin device. At 5.1mm, it looks thin enough to bend, but when I picked up the 11.09 by 8.48 inch device, it felt rigid, sturdy even, and oh my god, how this thing's so light. I've held more than a few iPad Pro 12.9 inch tablets, and the 1.5 pound devices always felt hefty. Not this iPad Pro. It's somehow just 1.28 pounds. That's almost a quarter pound lighter than the last model, despite screen-wise being slightly larger. At this thickness and weight, the new iPad Pro is fluttering with a e-paper tablet territory. It's not much thicker and heavier than the Remarkable 2. On one short edge are a pair of speaker grills and the USB-C port with a microphone along the same long edge as the volume up and down buttons. The top edge is home to the power or sleep button, a mic port, and the other two speakers for 4 speaker stereo output that I did not have the chance to try out. There are other smaller but important design changes, like one less camera in the array on the back, as well as the welcome addition of a so-called true tone flash. As I predicted, the FaceTime camera has shifted from the short portrait side to the landscape position, a change that necessitated re-engineering the Apple Pencil's magnetic charging system. Sadly, Apple has not added wireless charging to any of its new iPads. The other thing that struck me as I approached the new iPad Pro was the screen. Apple told us all about the Ultra Retina XDR display and its innovative tandem OLED technology. I can't recall any other device delivering not one but two sandwiched OLED panels. Apple lines them up so that one pixel is behind the other, essentially doubling the illumination power. Still, seeing it in person, I was struck by its sharpness and vibrancy. The colors in a field of flowers were astonishing, likely due to the white color P3 gamut, but it felt like more than that. At one point, I saw an animal on a sea of black and noticed how there was almost zero bloom between the sea creature and the background, which made it look as if the sea creature was floating in space. I want to reach out and touch it. I have not seen such inky black since the heyday of classic plasma TVs. Specular highlights, their tiny bits of light peek through the darkness, are shockingly bright. Apple claims 1000 nits brightness on SDR and 1600 nits brightness on the Ultra Retina XDR display, and I have no reason yet to dispute it. This is also the first iPad where you can specify a nano texture display glass option. For an extra $100, it adds a subtle texture that effectively beats back strong reflections. It's a useful feature for pros working in harsh light, but I would not recommend it for someone who wants to watch movies in all their glory on the iPad Pro. I mentioned the tandem OLED display is context of the design, by the way, because Apple could not have produced such a thin tablet without it. That display is also responsible in part for the introduction of the new piece of Apple Silicon, the M4. Built on the 3nm architecture of the still fresh M3, Apple's new M4 pumps up the CPU cores to 9 cores and matches the 10-core GPU and 16-core neural engine. Even so, this is not the same silicon. Inside are processes built specifically to handle the grunt work of managing two OLED panels and making them look like one whole. It's just another instance of another Apple building its silicon to support its hardware products and not the other way around. Apple didn't show us any new onboard generative AI tricks or a new LLM powered Siri, but it is touting the M4's 38 trillion operations per second. What I saw through a series of demos and playing around a bit with the iPad Pro 13-inch is a powerful system that can handle everything. It can edit your 4K ProRes video streams at once in the new Final Cut Pro 2. It can re-render 3D objects on the fly without a pause for regeneration. It managed 4 video feeds at once with real-time reflections in an action game without breaking a sweat. In the animation app Procreate Dreams, we edited a 140 scene 200 layer animation in seconds. My favorite part was using the Apple Pencil Pro to drag objects across a playing animation to create an animation for that object. This is typically difficult animation work that the iPad Pro and its M4 chip have turned into child's play. The M4 looks every bit as powerful, if not more so, than the M3 class chip on a MacBook Air, and it might approach the power of an M3 Max on a MacBook Pro. Based on what I saw, the iPad Pro 13-inch running an M4 chip looks ready to rumble at work for content consumption, for creators, and for gaming. I am not surprised, since I have yet to come across a disappointing piece of Apple silicon. The M4 is supposedly as efficient a chip as its predecessors, but Apple did do some work to manage heat dissipation. including somehow squeezing graphite sheets into the iPad and in what might be at first using the Apple logo as a heatsink. It now has some heat managing copper in it. It is hard to talk about the new iPad Pro 13-inch without mentioning the new Apple Pencil Pro. The $129 implement looks familiar but has a host of new features, including barrel roll, squeezability, and haptics. The new pencil works on all the new iPads launched today, and I did get a chance to try it on the iPad Pro. If you have never drawn on an iPad of any size, I can tell you it's pleasure. I have been using various iPads and Apple Pencils with Procreate for years. It's a tremendous drawing tool. The iPad offers palm rejection and the pencil has long head tilt and pressure sensitivity. New features and an expensive and lightweight tablet create an even better experience. First, there is barrel roll, which essentially adds a gyroscopic sensor so that the Apple Pencil Pro can recognize what you roll it this way or that. On the new iPad Pro, I could see the virtual knob of the pencil change from a vertical to wide orientation imaging using a draftsman pencil and rolling the tip from horizontal to flat. Second, the pencil also added a squeeze function, which let me squeeze the pencil to across a variety of drawing features in apps like Freeform. The Apple's Pencil Pro's new feature and the M4 chip appear to make a formidable combination. I watched a demo where the Pencil Pro was used to deform Procreate images with Liquify, showing how it could be used to quickly create artistic effects that would normally take hours to accomplish. In my own drawing attempts, I found the pen and tablet a fluid combo. Thickness and weight aren't the only things Apple suppressed here. The iPad Pro 13-inch no longer has an ultra-wide camera. Instead, there is now just a 12 megapixel wide-angle camera that supports up to 4K 60 fps. The LiDAR camera is still there to assist in focusing and also helps capture 3D scans. There is also now a True Tone Flash, a nice addition for the surprising number of people who like to use a large iPad Pro for photography. I did not get to try this camera, so I can't yet offer an assessment of its capabilities. Perhaps the most significant imaging change, though, is in the True Depth camera module, which has shifted from the portrait age to the wider landscape one. This is a very welcome design update since most people are contacting their iPad Pro video and FaceTime calls in landscape mode. I tried this camera out and it appeared to work fine. The 1080p videos was as sharp and clear as I remember. You can also use the True Depth module for Face ID, but I did not have time to register my face and test that. It's been a long time since Apple delivered true iPad excitement. Even as a fan of the tablet and its pencil accessory, I saw mostly utility and little romance in the iPad. Today, though, something shifted. It's not just the M4 chip, though putting Apple's latest silicon in an iPad remained a surprising choice. It's the combination of their chip, the incredible tandem OLED display, and a design that is just a few millimeters away from paper thinness. This is the kind of design, display, and performance that can, where put together, quite easily pry $1,299 from your hands. I have yet to test the product, but my early assessment is that the iPad Pro 2024 is a contender for the top of our list of best tablets.